Hello, and welcome back to Factorio. In this episode, you can already guess what we're going to be doing. Guess. Come on, you can do it. Guess what we are doing!
It's time to wall.
That's right, we are building a wall. And hopefully soon, getting oil. So, of course, the first thing I worked on today was getting the wall outlined, so I could build it later when I had the supplies needed for it. With the wall plan finished, I noticed my brick setup wasn't keeping up with the wall production, so I increased it minorly to help alleviate the problem. When I finished that, I decided to mark the oil on the map, mainly to remember the quantity of it so I could compare how much the turrets used at a later date. Naturally, of course, I began doing what I would normally do, which was just starting up some research tiers. I picked Lab Speed 1 and Fluid Handling. Lab Speed would make the research speed go zoom, and Fluid Handling would allow me to get closer to my goal of extreme arson for my wall defense. If you didn't know, flamethrowers are the most powerful early, middle, and somewhat late game wall defense. They do a lot of damage and can burn through behemoths like a dream. Laser turrets only do good if you research laser damage, and provide enough power to them. When the fluid handling was completed, I then queued up research on oil processing. My goals were quickly coming to fruition. I swapped out the drill inserters with the blue speedy ones, just because. The next big thing on my mind for now was steel. It was important for many future products like grenades, engines, fluid tanks, cars, tanks, flamethrowers, and better processing methods. Military science was made of walls and grenades. Speaking of military science, I queued up research for military science while I was hard at work making my steel setup. As per usual, I kept getting sidetracked. In the middle of constructing my steel setup, I went and increased steam engine power, probably because I realized there wasn't enough power. I also went ahead and increased the size of the coal miner setup, probably because of some other problem that I realized needed fixed. While I was hard at work, oil processing finished researching. I finished the steel setup. It would satisfy my demands for now, but its minimal production would have to be fixed in the future. I queued up a few more researches, namely Logistics 2, Sulfur Refining, Lab Speed 2, Plastics, Car, Explosive Power 1, and Batteries. All of these were important for the next big step, which was to start liberating the natives and taking back my land. Once again, I messed around with steam power. I ended up getting it to 6.2 megawatts. This minimal production was a kick in the behind. I immediately began working on trying to fix the steel setup. I got some progress done, but because I was so finicky with the ratios and stuff, I got tired and logged off without finishing.
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
After a wonderful dinner, some much-needed exercise, and a good night's sleep, I logged back on the next day, well rested and full of vigor. Today I was determined to get at least something done. I finished fixing the steel setup. It would have to do for now, but I still wanted to improve it. I needed to learn more about Factorio math. If you have anything that could help, I would gladly listen to it in the comments below. Of course, next on my list, I was gonna need red ammo soon. Not for using on weapons, because red ammo sucks after big biters come into the fray. I needed red ammo for military science, which takes it as one of its ingredients. I began work on a small but powerful red ammo setup that should hopefully get me what I need. Now that red ammo was finished, I queued up research for accumulators, portable solar, portable batteries, and blue science. To the Factorio veterans who are watching this, I think you can see where this is going. To those who aren't, I'm trying to get personal slaves which do my bidding and build the factory for me. In order to make military science, I needed one last ingredient. Grenades. These were going to also be used for heavy deforestation, long-range life subscription cancelers, and for general misuse. So I began work on a large grenade setup that should hopefully produce plenty of the little green balls of fire that we so desperately need. In the middle of working on that, I queued up research for flammables. The flamethrowers were getting close. Soon I would be Americanizing and liberating the oil from the natives. Anyways, since I finished the grenade production, I could finally make the military science. I built a semi-large production line, and then I hooked it up to the belts to feed the 3 items in. And the glorious, black, oil-looking jars of dubious liquid began streaming out. I hooked it up to the labs and watched as they got fed in. It was glorious. In between the military science production, I began research for modules. Speed 1 mod, Efficiency 1 mod, Drill Production 1, and Railways, because trains are fun. By the way, do not ask me for a video on trains. I can explain it, but I'll do that on my own accord when I make them in a later episode. Trust me, they're more simpler than they appear. On a worse note, the science setups would need to be boosted, so in expectance for the soon-to-be modules, I upgraded the science assemblers to Assembler 2s. Now that I had everything I needed, I could finally taste the sweet taste that is victory. I could finally queue up flamethrower turrets, plus explosives for later weaponry and cliff removal surfaces. In a fit of joy, I prepared Terry the Fish for the oncoming war, by encasing him in a layer of walls. All praise Terry, our supreme overlord. Praise the oil and its sweet and deathly power. For the oncoming war, I made a setup for pipe and pipe underground production. These are needed for connecting the flamethrowers and also making them. Pipes are needed for engines and pipes are needed for flamethrowers and cars. Pipes are needed for connecting oil tanks, pump jacks, refineries, and such. Basically, I needed pipes for everything I was about to do. The stench was in the air. It was here. I needed to prepare. I prepared. I prepared to go liberate some oil. I was ready. It was time. Sanctioned by Terry, I was sent on a quest.
A quest for the oil!
I had done it. I built the oil pump base and defended it with flame turrets. I also began pumping the oil out to my base. It was done, and now I could progress even further than before. I started an oil refining setup, making the basic petroleum, sulfur, and plastic bars. This would get me to where I needed to be at this stage. I should also like to mention the pollution is getting close to reaching the biter bases. I wasn't going to be safe for much longer, and I had to get to my next technology, and fast. To be honest, my belts weren't fast enough. so I made a simple off-branch and a red belt assembly unit, just to get the tier 2 belts being made. After that, I queued up research for advanced material processing, stack inserters, fluid wagons, and automated rail transport. Remember how I said I was new at the game? Well, I did something dumb. I upgraded the steel production to steel furnaces for no reason whatsoever. If you didn't know, that just means I was producing more pollution using less resources. It took about half as much coal to operate a steel furnace, and it sped up the production of whatever material was being smelted. I didn't even need that right now. I was running out of time. My safety wasn't going to last forever. I was forced to make dirty blue science production to get the amount I would need in the future. To be exact, I needed 400 blue science to get my goal. It costed 400 sulfur, 1,200 red chips, and 800 engines to make 400 blue science. Why do I need 400 blue science? Well, I needed to queue up the research for advanced oil processing.
Lube.
I swear I'm gonna be an adult and not make a lube joke. Please don't let me please let me not make a lube joke. Please, 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 please. Anyways, electric engines, flying robot frames, construction bots, personal roboport, and electronics too. These were the final steps towards a better future. I needed to get bots up and running fast so I could progress and make a wall without having to break a sweat. This is where everything gets tied up into a neat little bow for this episode. While I waited, I AFK'd, and that was all I did before getting off at the end of this episode. Thank you for watching. I can't wait to make the next episode. Also, Subscribble or Terry the Fish will come after you when you sleep. He is already 100 feet from your location.
Do it now, or face Terry's wrath.
Ah, Terry. You shouldn't have interfered. Humankind don't like us. I should let you know.